Just like many of you, I am very excited for the release of Mario Kart World. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing some of the things that I am hoping for with the release of Mario Kart World. I actually wrote down some bullet points here right in front of me for some different topics I want to review today. So it's going to be a review of things that we've seen on YouTube so far because, let's be honest, just like you, I've also watched a lot of different gameplay videos so far that are surfacing on YouTube. And I'm also trying to predict some things that may be implemented into the game, because as of today's recording, we're less than 2 weeks out from the dedicated direct for Mario Kart World. So I am very excited for this. So sit back, relax, get a beverage, and let's get started. One of the first things I saw with the videos coming out is there's going to be a humongous character roster, which one, I really like that. But number two, I am hoping that there is a good amount of characters that are viable at the top level, where there's not a lot of discrepancy between characters. My primary game is Mario Kart Wii, and let's be honest, that's Funky Kong Flame Runner Simulator and Daisy Mock Bike sprinkled about in there, you know. But I come from a time trial background as well, and I would love to see different world records that could utilize a large number of characters. It doesn't look like you can customize character stats either. I was kind of thinking, you know, what other twists could they do for the new Mario Kart? But I didn't see any way you could like adjust stats for almost anything at all static. But with that as well, the vehicles no longer have the customization for the wheels and the vehicle and the glider and things like that. I personally prefer this. I think it's much more simplistic. And even thinking for the more casual audience, you think, you know, if you want to try and get your friends or family or acquaintances to play with you in person, maybe for the first time, right? And you sit down and you have to, you know, select the screen and choose all these different parts and things like that. I think it's too much friction from when you first sit down to actually playing the game. So I think the more simplistic route that they're going is definitely appreciated for sure. I am really excited for the entire GP mode and the concept of rallies. So I've seen at this point a couple of different opinions with videos for this in particular. In summary, from what it looks like to me, is let's say you have a rally where it's 4 tracks. The first track, you do all 3 laps as normal. And then you take the path to the next track and you do 1 lap of that. And then you go on to the next path and you do 1 lap of the last 3 tracks in the entire rally. I hope that we could do 3 laps for each one, because let's be honest, sometimes maybe some of the better tracks in the cup or a rally maybe at the very end, and you want to actually play those more than just 1 lap, obviously. Another concern that I saw as well is the in-between section, I guess is what it's called, from between each track. Could be a little bit uninspiring perhaps. Maybe it's just a giant line for a couple of them, but I think it's still okay. I'm kind of jumping around a little bit, but the concept of the entire free roam in the entire world, Mario Kart World obviously, but that whole concept is really interesting and really cool to me for reasons I'll get to later on. But I think, you know, hopefully they could allow us the customization to have each track in a rally be 3 laps for every track. I would anticipate maybe the reason why they showed this current state is, let's say, you know, we do three laps of 4 tracks and the intermission little in-between section. You're probably looking at like 15 minutes for a rally, perhaps. Sometimes longer for all we know, because obviously it's an online race and you're getting hit with items and not going as fast as possible. So I do hope that we have both the customization for that offline, but also online and in friend rooms and things like that. But I think overall, just the take that they're doing, this spin, is really refreshing. I'm a big fan. I know there's other opinions on that, but I really enjoy what they're doing so far with this. Now, as far as mechanics, I've been trying to watch a bit more closely with some of the gameplay footage, and the whole railing thing is super cool. It looks slightly overpowered, if I'm honest. I'm not sure if I'm looking at it the right way, but it looks like when you go onto the rail, it snaps you to a static speed. So let's say, you know, you tumble near there in an online race, but you hop on the rail, right? It'll snap you back to top speed, where that seems a little bit overpowered if I'm honest, but we have to wait and see how it actually plays out when thousands and probably millions of people are playing the game, obviously. But that was one thing that I noticed, is it seems like the speed automatically snaps up right when you get onto the railing. Maybe because if you're below a threshold of speed, then you can't exactly travel on the rail. That's my speculation. We did see the 3 stages of main turbos as well in the game, which is great. It looks like they're trying to be a little bit more, I guess, realistic with mechanics of the vehicle, where when you're starting to drift, you see the car kind of like tilts a little bit, but then you're kind of going on your way. I'm definitely interested to see how that feels playing it. Do you feel that little abrupt tilt, or is it like one smooth curve and drift that you're taking? That is one thing that I am curious about. And to that end too, on the topic of drifting, so it looks like from what I saw, there's no inside drifting karts. All of them are outside drift that I've seen so far. And I've only seen gameplay of maybe like 1 or 2 bikes, and it seems like it's outside drift for the bikes. But again, more to be seen, I suppose, with the future direct in 2 weeks. We discussed this before. I had a whole topic for this right now with bullet points here for free roam. And this whole concept is just so refreshing and cool to me. I'm going to tell you guys one of the first things I thought about when I saw this. So I'm watching the showcase, and I see, I think it's Mario Brothers Circuit, I think is what the first course is called. And so I saw the track there, saw the character there, I saw the little circle mini map, and you know, the whole map in free roam. I instantly thought of the Need for Speed games, you know, like Need for Speed Most Wanted, where it might be a little bit weird, but to be fair, like in those games, like with missions that you do, if you're not doing a mission, you're just driving around the whole map, and it's just endless for the map for the game. So I don't know, I thought that was pretty cool, you know. But with all that being said, I think it's going to be so cool that we can take advantage of all parts of the track that we don't really see in one snapshot of a race or a time trial. I really think this is going to lend itself to players seeking out new strategies and optimizing gameplay for all the tracks. So in case you're new to my channel, I primarily play Mario Kart Wii. I play most of the Mario Karts in the entire series, but at this point, I have at least 20,000 hours for time trials, let alone everything else for Mario Kart Wii. And so I've been playing that game since 2008, and let me tell you, strategy development was very sluggish for a long time. I'll be honest, it wasn't until the I guess the precedent of emulator being used more readily by RTA players, but also just the testing community growing, where you can use save states and different modifications to make practice and strategy development much more feasible. Where if you do it on console, if you're testing out a shroom strategy and you fall off, you have to reset, because in that game you lose your items when you fall off the track. Or if you just mess up and you're off a ledge and you can't reverse back, you have to drive a whole nother lap or reset altogether. I feel like at that point, it made the incentive and the drive to search for new techniques and strategies more cumbersome. So not everyone was trying to do that. In recent years, especially with the wonderful task community of Mario Kart Wii, there's been so many different strategy developments, and I really think that a lot of it lends itself to being able to use save states especially and different modifications to make practice and strategy discovery more conducive. So I don't know if Nintendo would natively put in like a save state type of mode where you could practice more efficiently. I would love that, because obviously you can practice tracks and mechanics and time trials, but imagine in Mario Kart World there's a game mode where it's practice mode, and you can, like, you're placed in free roam, you can drop yourself anywhere and just create a save state and practice something over and over again and practice. It's not a time trial, it's not anything that'll be committed to some competitive leaderboards or anything like that. I think that would be really great. The possibilities are definitely endless, just kind of dreaming about things right now. Also for free roam, for content creators especially, it looks like there's a lot of potential just for generating really cool B-roll throughout different parts of the world and tracks and things like that. They are showing a lot of this whole like selfie picture thing on the tracks and stuff, but I wonder if there's a way you can just like disable the UI and just kind of zooming around, just exploring, right? But for B-roll, for videos, for content creators, that's going to be really cool for sure. I would be remiss if I didn't include hide and seek. So hide and seek is huge for games like Mario Odyssey, but also for Mario Kart Wii. So there is also a completely custom hide and seek game mode for Mario Kart Wii, which is super fun. And it'll be like earth-shattering in the best way if in the direct they show there's a hide and seek sort of game mode, because this whole open map here, it's begging for the game mode to be there natively in Mario Kart World. So if that were to come to pass, that would be super cool. We were talking about this a little bit earlier, but to almost no one's surprise, the largest part of this video is going to be around time trial. So in case you guys don't know, if you're completely new to Mario Kart or you played it when you were a kid and you played some races with your family, there is a mode called time trial where you spawn into the track with 3 mushrooms typically, and you do 1 try and you try to complete the track as fast as possible and to lower down your time even further. So I'm a big time trial speedrunning enthusiast, and so I have a lot of hopes and dreams for what's to come for Mario Kart World. So we're going to start off actually with leaderboards. So in Mario Kart Wii, there was your friend top 10, where you would have your friend roster for the game, and when you load it, the top 10 fastest times for your friends would come up on the chart, and that was really cool. Then you go over to regional top 10. So I am in the US, so for the US top 10, we would have that for regional top 10. If you're based in Europe or Japan or elsewhere, you would have different regional top 10s for wherever you're residing. Lastly, there is worldwide top 10, where, as you would expect, it's the top 10 fastest racers in the entire world for that track. The reason I really have enjoyed the Mario Kart Wii original leaderboard is for a few reasons. Firstly, it shows the exclusivity of the accomplishment of being a top 10 racer in the world on the track. At least to me, because again, I played Mario Kart Wii since 2008, since I was 14. And I remember when I was a kid, I was a teen, it felt so monumental as a casual at the time to like download a Ghost and see all these players. I have no idea who they are for the first time. Oh, they have the regional record or they have the world record. I'm going to watch it. It felt very momentous. Let's put it that way. So I hope with the leaderboards, they can include those different sections of top 10s and put it top 10. You can filter for beyond top 10. I also like how you're able to download any individual ghost on the entire leaderboard, where in Mario Kart Wii, you could not do that, unfortunately. Another idea that I had is, let's say if someone is not on your friend roster, but you don't have any more space to add them, or just any friend code in general, if there's a part in their database, you can look up a friend code, you can see their entire timesheet, download their ghosts, and watch them. That would be super cool, because in Mario Kart Wii, it was really cool too, where with your friends, they could send you a friend ghost. So let's say I made a personal best on Maple Tree Way, and I wanted my friend to watch my ghost and race against it. I would go down to their bubble and click it and click send. And if you go to friend ghost and you see it, you'll see a new ghost was delivered, which was very exciting. This was one of my fondest memories back in my heyday, where I would have new friend ghosts come in, especially for people in the Japanese community that I didn't have contact with all that much, but they would send me a new ghost and I felt pretty connected there, and that was a lot of fun to see. So I hope there's some type of mixture of that for Mario Kart World. We're talking about ghost data as well, and I hope that they can increase the cap of ghost data you can save and download. I think, you know, seeing how the data storage size is way more than the original Switch, I hope that is the case. I don't know if it's a limitation of the game itself, but clearly I think I saw 256 gigabytes of storage. So I think with how tiny ghost file sizes are, hopefully you can have more than just 32 or 64 or something way smaller than that. As far as for the functionality of time trials now, I have a couple of bullet points here. So one of the things is the actual replay of a ghost. So you would think, okay, you know, in prior Mario Kart games, when you watch a ghost, it's transparent for a ghost, and that's pretty cool, right? But it looks really cool to watch a ghost, but it looks like it's being actually driven live, but it's a replay of it. So in older Mario Kart games, it's literally called live replay code that some prior older Mario Karts the community has made by coding efforts to make it look like, you know, the replay is an actual live run. The optics of it looks cool. Small detail, but it's something that we do enjoy for sure. If there's a toggle between, you know, transparency goes for replaying and what it looks like if you're actually racing it, that would be appreciated. I think one of the greatest things to have come to Mario Kart Wii in particular with CTGP Revolution created by Mr. Bean and Chatters is the ability to have multi-ghost replay comparison. So I might be misremembering this, but I think a part of the reason why that actually works in Mario Kart Wii is, I guess, internally there is some unused code that could have supported up to 4 ghosts being compared. I'm pretty sure that's what I read a long time ago, but of course, Mr. Bean and Chatters could correct me if I'm wrong on that. But in any case, I feel like once that update was made, you could literally see where you're losing time or what saves time so much easier. Because prior to that, you know, sometimes certain time losses are a bit obvious, right? Like hitting a wall or hitting some grass, but sometimes it's the minutia. It's the very small things that you can't appreciate unless you're comparing versus a ghost. And hopefully there is an option not only to multi-ghost replay, but also to race more than one ghost. One utility I see for that is you could create a ghost that's a marker ghost for a strategy, and the second ghost you're actually racing against is either your personal best or the world record or a friend ghost or something else like that. I see different possibilities like that. As far as categories are concerned, I forget where exactly I saw this in YouTube comments of some of the videos, but it looks like there's a possibility that time trial may have both a 3-lap option and a 1-lap option, which if that's the case, I'm all for it, because for those that may not be informed, so there is a category in most Mario Kart games, it's called fast laps, where as you might expect, you race your fastest 1 lap for a track. And you have some pretty crafty strategies for different tracks when you can utilize more than 1 mushroom per lap. So I believe, I want to say it was after, probably definitely after Mario Kart 7, where they wouldn't log your fastest lap anymore. I hope that comes back. Not only that, I don't know if they could possibly sift through or discern what was a fast lap with more than 1 mushroom versus only 1 mushroom like for a normal time trial run. But to keep different statistics like that would be great. If there's an individual 1 lap game mode for time trial, that would be super cool, because then you could save the ghost for your fast lap and have your ghost for your 3-lap run, which would be really good. Another thing I'm curious about is the concept of rallies for time trials. So I know that's going to be a thing for GP mode, but traditionally in Mario Kart, you choose 1 track, you load the track, you get 1 try for the fastest time for that 1 individual track. So is there going to be different categories for rallies where you choose your route and you do that as fast as possible? I don't know. That would be really cool. Maybe Nintendo has a baked-in kind of speedrunning category mode thing. I mean, anything is possible for Mario Kart World, I assume, you know? But that would be really cool. I mean, imagine there's time trial leaderboards and competitiveness for the fastest time for every individual track. but then let's say there's a speedrun category or leaderboard for racing the entire world map as fast as possible. I don't know, man. That would take a lot of time to go through all of that in the game, I'm sure, without any breaks, but I think that'd be really cool as well. There's another game mode in Mario Kart Wii that I'm kind of hoping comes back to Mario Kart World. And maybe not many of you remember this or saw it at all, but there was a game mode where it's a one-try challenge and it sends you a ghost of someone anywhere in the world in the database. And you get one try, you choose your vehicle combo, and you race against it. It's one try, no restarts, you win or you lose. And then it keeps a tally of how many wins you've had and losses. I believe it's the ratio for both. So I thought that was really cool. It's fleeting me if it would send you a ghost that is comparable to your personal best on your save data. I want to say it has to be. You're not going to be like 20 seconds off world record and get world record for your try. I don't think so, but we shall see. But I think the return of that game mode would be really cool. To almost no one's surprise, I cannot make this section without hoping that there is an online mode for online time trial. Pretty uninformed, there is a magnificent and epic game mode created custom in Mario Kart Wii. It's called Online Time Trial, and this was created by Melg and many talented authors alongside him. And so traditionally, time trial is a solo endeavor. You're by yourself, you're time trialing for your fastest time. Online time trial is online racing with other racers. Everyone is transparent, there's no collision. You spawn in with 3 mushrooms. It's your time trial cycles and offline. And you do one try and you see who comes out on top. And it's one of my most favorite ways to play Mario Kart ever. And I have 2 different playlists you guys can look at in case you're new to Mario Kart Wii or that game mode that I'm discussing. I wouldn't steer you the wrong way. It's really cool. But if they have a game mode even similar to that in Mario Kart World, the possibilities are endless and I'll probably play it forever. Another, I guess, game mode you could call it that I hope makes a return is also in Mario Kart Wii. There was tournaments that were done. And so I think they spanned either maybe 2 or 4 weeks around there. And so there would be a new tournament for a task. And let's just say like you have a golden mushroom every box on Mario Raceway, complete the track as fast as possible. And then you can see where you rank on the worldwide top 10. And by the end of the time limit, where it's 2 or 4 weeks for the challenge, whoever it ends with, they have the world record for it, which is really cool. So hopefully that also makes a return for Mario Kart World. As we were recently talking about online racing as well, there's a couple of notes I have down for my hopes for online. So one of the things I have down here is changing how many races or laps you can do. So I wonder, as far as races, like how many tracks can you string together for like one room, like a friend room as an example? What's the limitation on that? If there's more customization for the player and your community, that would be really cool. Or if you can modify how many laps per race, because there is another custom game mode as well in Mario Kart Wii called Formula Kart Wii, and that is a game mode where it is 50 laps for one track. And in online racing, it's so hectic. There's different items in there, and it's really cool. So for, the spirit of rallies, right? Imagine you can modify how many laps that you're doing. It'll be really cool as well, side tangent, but if you could have different time trial categories for like 10 laps of a track or 100 laps for a track, I mean, that would be crazy, but I would love to play it, So I think there's just endless possibilities for all aspects of this game. For online racing, I've been seeing there is this little, I guess, lunch bag looking item, and it gives you a cosmetic change. So I still can't really tell if that's only for cosmetics, right? Where if you're selecting your character, you can choose the different outfit before your race, or if it actually gives you some type of actual benefit in the race. To my memory, I think when you use the item, you do get a boost from it, which is nice. I guess it's like a mushroom, I guess. But again, I'm wondering if that's going to be really impactful for the mechanics of a race. We shall see. This one's not really a hope because we've already seen it, but the fact that the feather is usable is so cool. That's by far one of my favorite items in Mario Kart. So the fact that we had that in Mario Kart World is super cool. And I think there's this other like golden shell or something where that kind of goes forward and drops coins as well. There's different items that are really cool. I didn't see any thunderclouds, so thank God for that. The return of the Mega Mushroom, which is really great as well. I really appreciate both with Mega Mushrooms and also seemingly with Golden Mushrooms. They have a little internal meter in the item box, so it's showing you how long your item is lasting for. That's really appreciated as well, because at least in Mario Kart Wii, I've timed it where it's almost 7 or 8 seconds for a Golden Mushroom, so I'll look at the timer internally in the game and know when my Golden is going to be running out in the game. At least to that end as well. I see that Mario Kart World, at least from what I've seen, is going to adopt the same UI choice as Deluxe, where you don't see the timer at all during your race. I mean, on the one hand, it looks cleaner aesthetically, I get it, but I like seeing the time. I guess I'm too much of a time trialer, I don't know, but you know, at least again, I'm talking about Mario Kart Wii a lot in this, but it's my primary game of reference. So in that game, let's say a shock is used in that game, is 30 seconds before another shock is available. So you would snap to the timer in the game and know when the next shock is viable to be used or obtained by a player in the race. So again, another small thing, another UI thing as well is if they could do a speedometer in the game, that would be really cool. Just to kind of know what your speed is and how different things, terrains and such is affecting your overall speed. Overall, I am just so excited for the release of Mario Kart World. It has been over 10-11 years since a completely brand new console Mario Kart. Of course, there were some changes that were made for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe from Mario Kart 8 Wii U version, but again, I've seen a lot of different opinions, and I feel like if you're watching my video, you've probably liked watching other opinions from other people for what they think about what we've seen so far and what we're hoping for with the game. So I've seen some more negative takes for a good number of things. I guess I'm naturally more of an optimist, I don't know, but you know, I see a lot of potential with this, and I feel like they've done enough to make this feel and look and be worthy of a successor to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. When I've talked with my friends in the past, I've always tried to say that, you know, I hope the new console Mario Kart feels like it has its weight as a successor to Deluxe and doesn't feel like just a refresh and slapping a couple of things on top of it. Where, in my opinion, I feel like the look of this game and how it's going to be operating and the potential behind it is going to be enough to say, okay, this is a worthy successor to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. And maybe there's going to be more DLC, not only for tracks and maybe rallies and expanding the world map, but maybe a DLC for different game modes for all we know, or maybe having some tournaments that they run apart from the missions I was talking about previously. But at least I'm the optimist. I think there's a lot of potential with this. So just like you, I am eagerly awaiting the release of the Nintendo Direct for Mario Kart World exclusively on April 17th. So if you want to see that, my opinion on that, and obviously content for the game in the future, definitely get subscribed here. There's more Mario Kart Wii content here you can also watch as well. I have 2 videos in the mix right now for different Mario Karts that are not Mario Kart Wii. I'll leave that to your imagination for what those will be, coming out very soon. Until then, I appreciate you guys watching, and let me know in the comments, you know, do you agree with anything that I discussed here today? Do you have other ideas for what would be cool, or are there any, you know, obvious glaring holes and things that I'm hoping for with the game? Definitely let me know in the comments. I'll be bringing that for sure. So yes, Until next time, I'll see you guys. Take care.